I talk about them.
Okay. Ready? Sabadi. Okay, well, it's Easter time, and we decided we would talk about the birth of my son Joseph.
This little man.
This little man. Because he was born in Laos. So, we're gonna let my parents in on a little story that I think that we don't know. They haven't heard this part of the story yet. How we found out she was pregnant? I don't know if you guys ever heard that part of the story. Yeah, so that was like back 2 falls ago, right? Like last August or October?
I think it's August.
August, and we were just like, I can't even remember the story. How did that go, Lily?
I thought that my 2 other sister-in-laws, they thought that they have a baby.
Oh, that's right. Both her
And
sister-in-laws
we
thought they had a
together.
baby. And you've been eating the orange thing, Joseph.
He's okay.
Yeah, and so we were living with the sister-in-laws, and we thought that they both had a baby. And
They said that they have a baby.
they say that
They
they
were
have a baby.
pregnant?
No, they weren't. That's the funny thing. But Lily was the one who was really pregnant. And so we were trying to have a baby many times, but every time we try and have a baby, it just never worked out. And we were getting kind of worried, like, can Lily really have kids? Were we like concerned about that? It had been like a year, and we were like, can she have kids? And so we would go and we'd buy these tests, and they were always negative. And so then this time it was like all her sister-in-laws were pregnant, and so we just decided, well, why don't we test Lily? And so
Then after that, I could just feel really weird about my body.
it felt different.
Yeah.
See, she's the
And then
expert.
I didn't want to do it, but you're the one that want to do it.
Yeah, well, let's just do it, because every time we did it, it never worked out. And so she's like, we're going to do it again, and then we're not going to have a baby because we took the test. But maybe if we didn't take it, I would really be pregnant. Right? And so we took the test, and she didn't believe it when it came out pregnant. I was like, yeah, you're pregnant. And she's like, no,
He's wrong.
it's wrong. So I think it was how much longer until we called mom and dad? We went to get an ultrasound first, right?
Yeah.
So this is a weird thing. I don't know how this works, but my wife, I love her to death. But sometimes when things like this happen that are really big, she needs to like check again before I'm allowed to tell anybody about it.
And my wife's the same way.
Like, you can't call your parents and tell them yet. We need to go get an ultrasound. And then we
Yeah,
go get
because I don't want to tell them, and then
We get all excited, and then
yeah,
it's not
all-
real.
It's not true.
Well, I could, yeah. Well, anyway, so we go get the ultrasound, and then it's like, okay, I'm gonna tell my parents. And it's like, well, wait, we need to be even more sure. And so finally, I convinced her, like, the ultrasounds. I think it was like a week later that we called them. Wasn't it on Halloween?
No.
It was Halloween.
Yeah, we
It's
called them on
right.
Halloween, so it was in October.
October
And also we did
31st.
ultrasounds we called them right after we do the ultrasound.
So that means we learned on October 1st. Or October
31st.
31st, because we called them on Halloween.
Yeah.
Yeah.
October. Wow.
You're a Halloween dude.
Yeah, Halloween. And so we were like, whoa, it was October. It was kind of really cool. But that was interesting because over there, like, you can go to the hospital to get the ultrasound, you can go to the doctor, but they just have these little clinics all around, and you can just go in, and they use really old equipment. But I mean, ultrasound's pretty new. What do you think?
No.
No?
It's been around.
When did ultrasound come out? It wasn't there when you were little.
Google it.
Just with my first baby, but
Yeah.
all
That was
the
like,
rest.
came out in like
yes.
the 90s, right?
Yeah.
90s. It's not that old.
Long time
I guess that's
ago.
30 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Dang. But anyways, yeah, so so they have all these ultrasound clinics and these kind of old ultrasound equipment, but it's still really good. And how much did they charge us to get our ultrasound? Do you remember that, Lily?
I don't.
$10? No, not even. Like $1?
No.
Was it
I
like,
don't remember. No, just
I think it was like 25,000
cheap.
deep. It was so cheap. Oh man. And then he was able to tell us how long you've been pregnant, right? And he said you were pregnant like what, 3 months already?
Yeah.
3 months pregnant. 12 weeks. We were like, whoa, like we're pretty far into this. And so that's when we called my parents. What was your guys' reaction when you heard it on the phone?
When we hung up, we were dancing.
I remember Mom would cry.
Yeah.
So excited.
Well,
Happy.
I wasn't expecting that at all. We had just gotten back from a party and we were just sitting on the couch and
A party in which we got
COVID
COVID from.
But anyway, we were just sitting on the couch and they called and I wasn't expecting it because I remember Connor had kind of shared that maybe they wouldn't be able to have kids and he was kind of sad. And so we just kind of thought that that was going to be the way it was and it would be all right. And so that was the last thing that we wanted. I mean, that we expected to hear. So I was really emotional about it, that we were going to have a grandbaby, but I wish that they weren't so far away, but I didn't even care. I was just so excited.
Yeah, because this is the first grandson. See, look,
Grandchild,
because I'm the youngest son with the first grandchild, and I will wear that a badge of honor.
Connor always was the third child, middle child.
But the first in everything.
So he's always competing.
I am the winner. So I remember, we called you guys on Halloween, and that was crazy. And so after that, it was like, well, what do we do now, right, hon?
Yeah, it's kind of like exciting, and then like, what are we gonna do now?
Yeah.
So what did your sister-in-laws think?
Oh yeah. What did Ong and them think about it?
They're happy with that. And my mom was like, "Oh, really?"
Yeah.
Because she already had like so many good babies, and she just like
That's another.
she's excited, but like
another
no,
grandbaby.
it's meant just mom and dad.
Yeah, I think she called us back a couple days later and was like, "You guys are teaching your grandbaby Hmong because I need to have a grandbaby that can speak Hmong." And we're like, "But you have a whole bunch. They're in Siankwang." She goes, "But they're not over here." So I was like, "Yeah, that was crazy." And so I think after that, we had to figure out, I didn't know anything about pregnancy. My wife knew very little. And I remember someone telling us, "Where are you going for your hospital checkups?" And I'm like, "You got to go to the hospital? I thought you just let it do its thing." And I was like, "Oh no." And so we had to figure out where we were going to go to the hospital. Well, Laos is very nice in the fact, I don't want to say that their healthcare system is bad. It's just not very up to date. So it's not the same as the U.S., but it's very nice in the fact that they have different hospitals for different purposes. Like they have the children's hospital, and they have the mother and newborn hospital, and they have the Mahasot hospital, which is just for everybody, kind of. And so they have different hospitals to do different things, right? And so we're like, oh, well, let's just go to the mother and newborn's hospital, which is really kind of far away, and we only had a motorbike. So we had to have friends drive us to the hospital all the time, which made it kind of difficult. But how often did we have to go? Once a month, right?
Yeah, every month.
Every month we would go, and they would check on my wife, and the hospital was doing really great. I think the problem started, really sort of started when we started having some foreigners that were our friends, and they were awesome, by the way. The foreigners were great. But they started helping us with doing the medical stuff. They'd had kids, and they knew how the medical worked in Laos. But one thing that I feel like we didn't realize when we started this was that the foreigners over there tend to go to foreigner places. And the foreign places are really expensive, and that's because they don't speak Lao, right? And so they only know these foreigner places, and they'll go to these doctors that are Lao doctors, but they charge like 3-4 times the price. And at that time, we were making, what, $300 a month?
Yeah, and I remember this one time we just got an accident on a motorbike. We went to this foreigner hospital.
Not when we were pregnant. This is before that.
It was really expensive.
Yeah, I think
it was $150.
it was like $150. I mean, they're still cheaper than the U.S. But just to clean off our cut.
And it wasn't a big cut.
It wasn't a big cut. They just took some alcohol and wiped it off, and it was like $150 for that. And so I'm like, I never want to go to the foreign hospital again. I can do that myself. I don't want to do that. And so they would take us to these clinics, and these clinics would be like, $300 to meet with them just to do the inspection on the baby. But if we went to the hospital, it was like $20. So
it's like $10.
$10.
Depends on the vitamins that they give you.
Yeah, I mean, and that's including the prescriptions. And so it was so much cheaper just to go to the hospital. But the thing that I liked about the hospital is everybody went to the hospital. All the locals go to the hospital. And the foreigners, I don't know why they don't trust it, but the doctors at the hospital, they work with more people every day. You go into these offices that the foreigners go to and they're empty. And there's not a lot of people inside. And so I don't know how many babies they're working with every day. But these foreigners, the hospital, you know, they're working with lots and lots of babies.
Foreigners from where?
From all over. Foreigners from all over. Usually there are people working at the embassy, different embassies, you know. So foreigners from like anywhere, Japan, Korea, China, anywhere. And they'll go to these places and it's because they're advertised in foreign languages, right? So they just rip you off. That's all they do. And so would you rather go to a doctor that's delivered... Would you rather go to a doctor that's delivered 5 babies or a doctor that's delivered thousands? You know?
Depends on how good he is.
Well, I mean, if he's delivered thousands, he's got to know what he's doing. He's got a record, you know? Maybe
He could
not.
have a bad record.
Delivering thousands and none of them lived. I don't think he'd be a doctor anymore. That'd be scary. But it was hard because I feel like here in America, you go to the same doctor every time. Whereas in Laos, you'd go there and you would never see the same doctor.
You see the same doctor, but different doctor do different things.
Right.
Like they would do the ultrasound will be one doctor, and then the doctor that check your
blood.
Yeah, like you have to go to different rooms.
Different rooms, different doctors do different things, and doctors will never give you medicine. Doctors will just give you a slip to take to the pharmacy where you get your medicine, and so it's really
Just like here.
yeah. But some cases it's like
that's how it was in the hospital. You should tell that part.
yeah, which is really interesting. You'd walk in. Yeah, I'll let you tell your part. We'll get there. You walk in, and then you go pay at the desk for your appointment, and then you basically just have to go sit. It takes forever, right? Remember how long it take to go to the hospital? 2 or 3 hours.
You have to wait. And sometimes like you're there like at 11. They would say come back in the afternoon like
After lunch, because we're going to go on our lunch break. And so all the doctors go on the lunch break at the same time. And that was really hard. And so you'd sit in these chairs and you'd wait forever. And you'd be in these rooms. And it seemed like these doctors had cubicles. And they would have like a curtain around their cubicle. And you could just go in their cubicle. And so they just pull the curtain back. And I was not allowed to go in to any of the doctor appointments with any of the doctor meetings.
Is it because of COVID or was it just how the laws
I was
are?
allowed. I had to wait right outside the cubicle.
Was it because of COVID?
No. I think it's just the way it always was.
I think just because they don't want to let lots of people go inside.
Yeah, I mean, it was really different. And so it was just like, I wanted to know what was going on, but I wasn't allowed inside ever. And I remember my wife had to get special permission for me to come see the ultrasound. And I think the only reason they let me in to see the ultrasound is because I was a foreigner. And we had a friend that knew the guy. And so he's like, all right. And they had to sneak me inside so that I could see the ultrasound.
Which part is that?
That was at the Meladec. Remember? Yeah, that room. And so I'd have to sneak into the ultrasound. And so it was really, really annoying that they had to make it so hard for us to go to the hospital. But you go from one room to the next room to the next room to the next room to 4 different rooms sometimes. Right? It was interesting.
Oh, and that's how it was when he was born.
That's yeah.
After he was born.
After he was born, it was tricky too. Okay, we'll go on. Do you guys have anything you want to say?
Oh, it was just cute. You would FaceTime us when you were there at the appointment.
Oh, yeah.
And he
Really
would be
hated
really
that.
frustrated because he's like, they aren't letting me in.
We'd get pictures of
We
Connor
don't know
sitting
what's
in
going on.
in this big lobby in a chair. Well, here's where I get to be.
I just sitting there waiting, and then Lily would come out and she'd be like, "How come every time we come to the hospital, you're just on your phone? Just be on your phone then." And I feel like it was kind of awkward.
Because I can't see you and I need help.
Yeah.
And then you come out and you're just gone. It was like, well, you just come and gone and just stay home and just come along.
Well, I also feel like we'd walk in there and I'd be talking really loud in English. Everybody'd be looking at me, and I feel like we didn't like that either. Because I'm like, and they're like, "Hey, we're at the hospital," and everybody's like, "What? Who's speaking English?" They look at me. Here's this big white dude. You know, I'm at the hospital with all the locals, not at the hospital with the foreigners. You know, And that was like something else, okay? So we went to all the checkups, right? And we were pretty good at that until when we got close to the end, we found a clinic close to our house that could do all the checkups for us. And, you know, we had hit the 9-month mark. There goes Joseph. We had hit the 9-month mark. And we were like, okay, when's this baby going to be born? And Lily wasn't going into labor.
I have no clue.
And so we're like, what the heck? And so we keep going in and we're like, your baby's getting bigger and bigger. Your baby's huge.
It's plus like COVID time and we can't visit anybody. Anybody don't come to visit us and we don't really see people.
Yeah, it was really hard and everything was locked down. And so at this time, I think it was like, see, with my mom, I had to be induced. She had to be induced for me to be born and my other babies. And we wanted Lily to have a natural birth.
Baby?
Yeah, my other brothers. Sister.
Just after you, it was just a sister.
Yeah, well, when we wanted to have a natural birth, you know?
We do.
But all the doctors there kept saying C-section. C-section. It's like, there's no way I want to have a C-section here in Laos. That was hard, to do a C-section in Laos, right? And where was I going with this?
So let me interject.
Yeah.
So really quick, they keep going in and we were like, oh, she's gonna go in and have the baby, and then they say, they call us and say they just want to do a C-section. So we said no and came home. We're just gonna wait to see if I'm gonna go into labor. And I was just like so worried. I was just so worried that baby was gonna get too big and she wouldn't be able to have him. And it'd be really horrible experience. And
Don't hear that, baby.
so
Then we got a phone call.
Wait, before we get to that part, I'll have you tell that part in just a minute.
Okay, I'll tell it.
But we had some foreigner friends that were helping us. They were trying to get us to go to this really nice foreign hospital for our baby to be born. And the foreign hospital was like C-section or nothing. And they wanted to charge us like $2,000 to do the C-section, which is still pretty cheap for America, for the United States. $2,000, wow. But, you know, we were like making $300 a month. That was a lot of money. We couldn't do $2,000 for a C-section. And, you know, how many babies do they deliver at this hospital on average anyways? These doctors might be well trained, but they aren't delivering babies every day either. And so we were just thinking about this, and every time we kept going with them, it just didn't sit right. Everything was too expensive, and they were doing the same things that the other hospitals were doing.
Just farted.
So I think when they were telling us that the baby, it hadn't even been 9 months yet. It couldn't be 9 months yet. But the other hospital, the local hospital, was saying, yeah, you should be past your 9-month mark now. And then we, go ahead and tell it.
We just go to the hospital for check.
Yeah, the other hospital.
Because it's been too long.
Oh, there he goes.
It doesn't do it. Get it out, buddy.
Oh, my
do it.
goodness.
The baby's having a baby right now.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
Good boy.
Good job.
Joseph.
God.
You done? Yeah, he's done.
All done.
I'm done.
I wish it was that easy for me.
So we went to the checkup, right? Went to the hospital for a checkup. So we went to the hospital for a checkup.
Yeah. And then they say the baby's too big, and again I was awake. So my weight before marriage was like 48, and then right like before I give birth I was like 75 kg. So I gained like
60 pounds.
I gained like 30 kg.
Yeah, it's like 60 pounds.
Over 30 kg.
Wow.
And so I was really worried. And then they said, well, you have to go to the emergency section. What do they have to say about this? It is out of control, you know. And so we went to the emergency room, and then they say, well, the baby is so big. He's right now he only like 5 kg.
Over 10 pounds.
And they were kind of worried that something must be wrong with the baby or something must be wrong with me, because it is really not normal, you know. And then
Yeah, I think I remember my wife walking out and she was shaking. Like, they want us to give birth to the baby. Yeah, you totally were. You like said, you didn't even say anything.
Shaking.
She didn't even say anything. She just said like, can you come back here with me? So we had to go in that back room and a doctor had to explain it to me. And I think at this point we called you. Right?
Okay. Can I go into it now?
Yeah, go into it.
All right. So we get a phone call. It was early morning, right, for us, or night. It was late at night.
yeah, it's late at night.
And answer the phone, and Lily says, the doctor wants us to have the baby C-section. They say it's just too big. What should we do? And I said, well, you need to think of your health first, and then you need to think of the baby's health. So if you try and have this baby naturally, it could hurt you, and it could hurt him. So have the C-section. I said, and if something goes wrong with the baby, that's okay, because of where you are. But we gotta do what's safest, and for you. And okay, we're gonna have the baby. Well, when? She said. We said, and she said, right now.
So
we were like, what? You mean? Oh, he bumped his head on the coffee table.
right now.
He needs the candy man.
Yeah, the candy man doesn't have any candy right now. And so we were like shocked, like, wait,
Right
now? You don't get to get home and get the things you need, and we didn't understand that they need a lot from home. We didn't understand that the hospital provides no sheets, no blankets. You have to bring all that stuff.
Yeah,
We didn't learn that till later.
Yeah,
we had to call our brother-in-law to go grab all that. And his friend.
So while she was in surgery, we couldn't sleep. We were worried.
So excited.
And excited.
So worried. And Connor would keep calling us and nothing yet. And then it got to the part where he called us and he said, oh my gosh, they came out and they said she needs more medicine. And they gave me a paper and told me to go get it. And she's right in the middle of her surgery. We're like, what? We were freaking out.
Yeah,
That was weird.
Yeah, right in the middle of the surgery, the doctor flips open the door and he's like, Connor, where are you? And I go over to him. He's like, okay, we need this medicine to finish her surgery. Can you go get the medicine? I'm like, what? And they had us going down. They did this like 3 times. I had to go keep getting medicine from the pharmacy for them. And I'm like, this is so weird. And why are they only doing this with me? But I think they were doing it with other people. I just think the other people knew what they were doing, and I didn't. Mm-hmm. And so I had to keep going to get medicine from the pharmacy, and that was really weird. Could you imagine that? Just, it's weird.
And then can I tell the best part?
Yeah.
So it was like 2 in the morning.
Wait, we're not gonna. Okay, wait, we'll get to that part in just a minute.
Okay.
Yeah. So after we decided to do the C-section, she ended up going in for surgery. 2 hours later? Mm-hmm. It was 2 hours later, and they had to go get it prepared for surgery. And it was really hard because I wanted to say a prayer for my wife, and they were like, "No, you can't do that." But luckily, there was this Hmong worker there who was like, "Come with me," and I talked to her Hmong, and so she took me into this little back room. And was like, all right, say a prayer real quick. And all the doctors were like, you're not allowed to be in here. And they were super mad.
Because all the women there.
All the women were there. And so I just said a quick prayer and then I walked out, which was, made me feel a lot better that I was able to do that. It definitely helped. And then I had to go wait out in this room forever while they were doing all this stuff. And it was, wow, that was such a scary experience, but it was so cool at the same time. Okay, you can tell the best part now.
I was doing that. I was tired that night, just like what I just did. But anyway, it was like 2 in the morning, and we were waiting. We were in our bed, lights out, and all of a sudden the phone rings, and we were like freaking out.
We were up,
and he's like, I got him, and he had him in his arms. We're like, what? He goes, I got him, and then he was running, like he was running or walking really fast with them. We're like, what's going on? And then we're like, you got the baby? He goes, yeah, look. And he like does the phone like this, and we're like, oh my gosh. And then we're like, well, where's Lily? How's Lily? And he goes, I don't know. They just gave me the baby. And I'm like, okay. He goes, I'll call you later. And we're like, okay. So anyway, but at that moment, we figured everything was fine and the baby was fine, or else Connor wouldn't have him with him, and that Lily was fine too.
Yeah, that was the hard. That's when all the hard stuff really started. Was after the baby was born. I'd never held a newborn ever.
Why?
And so this is the first newborn, and they brought him out and they had him in this room, and they told me I could come look at him in this room, and so I came and looked at him through this glass window, and he was like 4 times the size of all the other babies on the table. They had all these babies on a table, and he was like, they were so big compared to them. They looked like teeny, and he was like, and all the doctors kept picking up my son, and I'm like, is something wrong with him? Finally, one doctor just said, no, they're just shocked at how big your baby is. Keep holding him and passing him around.
So tell how big he was.
His face looked like a pumpkin. He was born, what, over 10 pounds? 10 pounds something.
He was
10 pounds 1
5
ounce.
kilos and what?
Yeah, it was like
hey.
4 and 7.
No.
1.7 kg.
Yeah. But he was
Good
like
boy.
he was like 3 months old.
He looked like a 3-month-old baby. He was huge. And then he, what was I going to say? I had something else I was going to say about that.
Let's bet it on him.
Oh, but let me back up.
Okay.
About 25 years. This guy was really big too.
Doctor kept saying, oh, we're going to have a small baby. Small baby.
Small baby.
Natural birth, he was 10 pounds.
No.
That was
9'5".
9'5".
But
That's
he was
right.
big too. So.
2 weeks early, 9'5".
Yeah.
Wow.
Man. But,
Okay, go ahead.
so the doctors during the surgery, they had gone in a back room and they were laying money on a table, making bets on how big my baby would be. And I didn't know about this until after. After I was holding my baby and I walk out and this guy comes up to me, doctor, and says, you're the guy who speaks Hmong, right? I says, yeah. And he says, can you speak Khmu? I say, what, Samaila? And he's like, oh, you can? I'm like, no, I can't speak Khmu. That's all I know. And he starts laughing and he goes, doesn't matter because I won the bet. And he showed me all the money and then he goes walking off.
What was his language?
Khmu.
No, that he was speaking to
English.
you.
The doctors can usually speak English. At least
Wow.
broken English, but they can usually speak English okay.
Uh-huh.
And so then he was like laughing as he walked away. He had earned all the money from the bet because he got the closest weight to what my son was. They had no idea what he would be. And I don't know if this was the first foreign baby they delivered, but they don't deliver very many foreign babies there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they were really like, it was a new thing for them. And so it was awesome because after this, our doctor that was in our room was Hmong. He was a Hmong guy and he was so cool. He was a great guy. And so we went and we took him into the room, and you know how the Hmong culture is. They make you eat
Only eat rice.
rice,
with
chicken, and chokai.
What's chokai?
Chokai is
It's
like
like on all
watercress. It's red watercress.
No, it's all different herbs. Not just watercress.
There's another one that we got from the.
It is, but just like all different.
It's like a couple kinds of herbs, and so basically that's all you're allowed to eat for like how long? A month after you give birth.
What's the purpose of that?
It's supposed to make it so you don't get old after.
No, so that you can produce milk enough for your baby, and like you're supposed to always eat warm food.
Can we hear when we're here?
And, yeah, we can. You're supposed to always eat warm food so you can produce enough milk. But the, you know, it's interesting, Joseph, you're being so loud. Yes.
I know you want.
It's interesting though because I was totally against that. You know, I'm not against many things that are in the Hmong culture, but I just felt like I wanted my wife to be eating really nutritious food.
Well, even the doctors say just eat whatever.
Yeah, even the Hmong doctor's like, you can do that, but you should be eating more than just that.
Yeah, because
I wanted to
baby
make sure
need
my wife was
vitamin.
getting vitamins, like, you know, citrus and vitamin C and vitamin D and dairy and all these different things. And Lily's mom was like, if you do that, she's not gonna be healthy. She's not gonna. So I was just like, ultimately, I came to the conclusion that my wife gets to choose. But boy, I was heavily influenced to go the other way.
So what did you do, Lily?
We kind of eat both.
You still ate other things?
Yeah.
Yeah, but not at the very beginning.
Yeah, the really big beginning. I just like kind of eat that, and like a week later, the my workplace, they give us food, like lunch.
Yeah.
And so we've been like have lots of veggies.
Oh, that was
and
such good food too.
have pasta and all different food.
Yeah.
So it was good.
And so yeah, that was really good. And then the other thing is when we were in the hotel or in the hospital, we had to stay in this little room, right? Teeny little room. We had a little rice cooker we would cook our rice in, and we had to, we'd never really used formula with the baby except for that first night, because I had to feed him because my wife was in the operating room for a long time after that.
What's he doing?
And and so he, and that was really hard because I'd never had a baby before, and I've never held a baby before like that. All the babies I hold were like 1 year or older. And so here's this baby, and I'm holding him, and he's a newborn. And I don't know how to feed him. I didn't even know. I remember someone there told me, you have to boil the bottle before you use it. I'm like, what? Boil the bottle? I can't feed the milk to him cold. I have to heat the milk up? All this stuff was so new to me.
You guys didn't know you had to burp him?
No, I didn't even know I had to burp the baby. So
We told him that over the phone. And kind of tried to teach him over the phone.
I had like a doll, and I was trying to show him how to burp the baby.
Yeah, I remember that. That was hard. Well, anyways, my wife gets back, and she goes to bed that night and wakes up in the morning, and they're like, okay, how was the medication last night? And they're like, I'm like, what medication? The one that we gave you to give to her when she got back to her room. I didn't get any medicine. They gave me medicine, but it was like forever, way before that.
They gave you the paper to go get it.
Oh, and I didn't get it. They were speaking loud at me, and I was so lost. And so it was her pain medicine, so she slept the first night without her pain medicine.
Mine was okay.
And I felt...
That's how tough she is.
Yeah, she's a tough sucker. Yeah.
When did you feel the pain really starting to kick in?
Like the first week, like even I laugh or I cough, it will hurt.
Yeah.
And so I would try to not laugh or try to do anything.
Yeah.
It is really hard. Just like you feel like you really have yeah.
Joseph.
Yeah. And you always need somebody to do things for you.
Yeah.
There it is, look.
And that's okay at that time. Yeah.
Yeah, that was hard. But then what was it? After that...
How did you get home from the hospital?
No, we'll get there in one sec. Because after that, I had to go take him to get his first bath.
Oh, that
and other
was
things.
so great.
It was so hard. Like, I have no idea.
Lily just had to sit there, and I had to do everything.
And so we ended up with shower the baby on the bed.
And everything was not even that. No, I'm talking about when I had to take him around the hospital.
Oh.
I had to leave the room, and all these people were telling me where to go, and I'm like, where is this? And they're all speaking loud at me, and I'm like, I had to go to 10 different rooms and take him to all these different checkups and all these different places. And used this book and everything else, and I had no idea where I was going, and I was the only one who could do it because I was his dad. They wouldn't let my brother-in-law help me because of COVID. And so it was just me and the baby running around the hospital trying to figure out how to do everything. And that was really hard. And then the next day, we finally were able to take him in for his actual shower downstairs. So we took him downstairs, and they grabbed him by his neck. They just grabbed him by his neck and picked him up and just dumped him in the water backwards and forwards, and then handed it back to me and said, all done. Well, they scrubbed him real quick. They were like, since they've done so many babies, just went clean.
They know what they're doing.
Done.
But when you do it, you don't know what you're doing.
And I was just like, whoa, that was really quick.
No.
But we had to bring our own soap that they would use to wash the baby.
And the clothes won't fit the baby.
And the clothes that we bought didn't fit the baby because he was too big.
So what did you put him in?
We ended up having to go get more clothes while we were there.
No, we just have a towel wrap him.
You just wrapped him in a towel?
Yeah, and then we got to get some
Did they give you diapers there?
No.
No. We had to bring our own diapers.
We got some from the baby shower.
Yeah.
And it was really
Do you have to put him in a car seat when you leave the hospital?
No,
or you
we
just
always
hold
hold
him?
him.
No, we just held him.
So did you take a taxi home?
No, we had someone pick us up in their truck.
And then you just held him, huh?
Yeah, and then we took him home. And then we had to come back for his shots. And that was another interesting thing. But the shots were really
JJ, come
easy.
here.
And they're really quick. And they give you a little pink book to walk around. And you have to get some shots that are the same as here, but some shots you get over there are different. Like, I think he had to get his encephalitis shot. Encephalitis, and I think there were a couple of other shots that he had to get that I didn't get when I was little. But it was really nice. I'm glad that we were able to get all the vaccines done.
Okay, come here.
Overall, I think the most amazing thing about this to me, or not the most, but one of the most amazing, definitely not the most. But
So here's the baby, the one in Laos. He'll have this thing in the right here.
Yeah, you can't really see it. It's a little mark because they give the shots in the shoulders. The other thing is, the hospital bill was so cheap. It was like $300 for
I'd
everything.
say that was 5.
Lily thinks it was like 5, and I think it was like 3.
Including the food and everything.
Yeah, not including the food, just the hospital bill for the housing, for the room, and for everything else was like
You
$300.
had to bring your own food.
Yeah, we had to bring our own food. But food was like, you know, Laos, it's like $1 for a meal, $2 for a meal. You know, in Inglepa. Yeah.
Depends
But we also had to buy like the thing to heat up the water. And a whole bunch of baby stuff that we didn't know that we needed to bring. Because you have to bring everything there. And I was like, and then, you know, Lily's friends were all speaking loud to me, like, do you get this? And did you get this? And I don't know the Lao words for all this baby stuff. And I was so confused. I'm just like, get what? And my wife's in the operating room, and the doctor's handing me the slip to go get the medicine. And they're asking me if I have things, and they aren't even allowed to be in the hospital because of COVID, and I'm freaking out. Woo! That was a hard time. But now he's here, and it's amazing. And we're so lucky. It's almost his birthday. So, almost 1 year since that time. Do you have anything you want to say?
So good.
Do you have anything you guys want to say?
So happy he's here.
Yeah, I think it's an amazing experience. I think if I had to choose between my son being born in Laos and the United States, I'm so glad we had it happen in Laos, and I would definitely have my next child born in Laos.
Huh?
Yeah. Because I realized after he was born there that hospital system wasn't that bad when it comes to giving birth, if you're in the city. And they did a really good job. And, you know, here in the United States it can be really expensive, but over there they take really good care of you, and it's not expensive.
If you would have come over after she was pregnant, if you would have come back and had the baby here, it would have been very expensive.
Right. But doing it over there, it's like so much cheaper. And they do a really good job. I'm almost like tempted for my second child to just go over there.
No, negative
on
that
that
one. No.
Not happening.
And just have him be born over there, and then we'll just bring him back over. Yeah. We'll just stay over there for 3 months.
And you can have both your grandmas in there while she's having the baby.
We'll just all go over there.
We just moved there with you guys for a couple months.
Grandpa doesn't need to be in there.
Yeah. We'll take the whole family over there.
No.
Because it'd be cheaper for us to fly over there and give birth than to give birth in the States.
The whole family.
We could fly the whole family over there.
Yeah, but we can't. But Mom can't go in and watch the baby be born there.
Mom can. Mom can. Dad can't.
I prefer that anyway.
Interesting stuff.
Right, it was good.
Well, it was a good experience. If you guys have comments, please leave them below. I appreciate you guys' support over here. Hope you can hear us. Sorry, my baby's been screaming in the background. You guys are awesome. Please share this video, like and subscribe. See you later.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.